This is Half Serious, where we dig into the things that keep us going. Habits, hobbies, hell, even bad ideas, and the hard crap that nearly breaks us. Because life doesn't pull punches, and somewhere between the chaos and the craft, the dichotomy of life teaches us a lesson. We laugh, we curse, and we keep freaking going. So pour a drink or start your marathon, and let's get into it. This week we talked to Kevin. It is a 2-part episode and reaches into the depths of gallows humor and into the heartbreaking tales that silence the most hardened of cops. Some of you may notice we are posting a day early. This is to dedicate this episode to Kevin's daughter, Emma. Today is her birthday, and I think sometimes the best thing we can do for someone is to continually put their name out there into the world so memories never fade. So, episode 12, November 3rd, 2025. Sacrifice, loss, guilt, and trauma that makes us funny? Here's to you, Emma.
That is the one regret that I have is my first wife told me to get out. I wanted to stay in. I was preparing to
What branch were you in?
The Army.
Okay.
I was preparing to take the Special Forces test so that I could become a Green Beret. Whether I made it or not was irrelevant. I was preparing for it. And she was like, I don't want you to get killed. And I was like, fucking whatever. I was doing the good husband thing. And I was like, all right, I'll leave. I could have been retired by now. Yeah. Been done with everything.
I think the reason why I left after 17 years.
I might have had a little less PTSD if I had stayed in the military. And that's pretty sad.
That is pretty sad. I think I've had 3 military people, but I only asked 2 of them the question. But usually one of the questions I ask is, what do you think the difference is between military and police? Because people parallel them all the time. The difference he said was that his shit in the military, he was like, okay, well, that happened over there, that bomb and everything. Like, he'll have flashbacks and shit. But then when he comes here, he's like, well, no, that did happen. And that happened on that corner right there. So it definitely could happen again. It was like day-to-day stuff. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. No distance from it whatsoever.
In the 6 years that I was in the military, and the first 6 years that I was in the police department, I had more traumatic experiences in the police department than I did in the military with 1, 2, 3, 4 deployments. So this was a lot worse. And it's a lot because over there.
To be fair, you've also had really bad fucking luck.
Well, yeah.
Or you just get into a lot of shit. I don't know which one.
Both.
I feel like you and Chad's parallel, except he causes his own shit magnet, whereas I feel like you do work, but then you just happen upon half of the shit.
I attest it to right place at the right time. I put myself into, I make decisions that put me where I need to be at the right time. Just answering calls. I'll answer a call and I'll leave that call. And then I'll hear another one. I'm like, all right, I'll go to that one. And it just, as I progress through it, it just puts me right there. What are the rules on this?
So you can cuss, you can say what you want to,
that's
but
what fucking happened.
Oh yeah. Well, have you listened to any of them? Because
my dad taught me the art of using the word fuck.
Oh yeah,
it's ingrained in me.
So many emotions.
Can I make whatever name I want?
Okay, Clint Eastwood.
I was gonna say Big Dick Daniel.
Oh, okay. People started, hey, that guy, Big Dick Daniels.
I know that cough. That's Big Dick.
Not as advertised.
That's just what he gobbles at night. Jesus.
Oh my God. You made it worse. All right, so Big Dick Daniels, what do you really want your name to be?
No, it don't matter. You can call me Kevin, Kev. I don't give a shit.
I mean, it's a pretty common name, so.
Yeah, that should be fine. Till they figure it out.
I think they're going to know within the first 5 seconds of you talking. I can't change the voices.
Oh, shit. We can't get one of them fucking...
Yeah.
Just talking like that, they'll still know it's me. They'll be like, that's fucking asthma. That's Sergeant Asthma. Fuck off.
They'll still know just from how you talk. They'll know regardless.
That or they're going to hear this fucking wheeze and laugh like fucking... What's that dog that fucking... The dog on Hanna-Barbera?
You're doing it right.
Jeez.
Die on my couch.
Half the podcast is going to be the ambulance fucking over here.
So today,
we're going to dedicate this to our guest.
Lasted all of 7 minutes.
Surprise twist at the end. Oh, Lord.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm Kevin. I've been with my department for going on 20 years. Prior to that, I was in the Army for 6 years.
You were over SWAT.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
I guess you wanted to know the things that I've done. And
I really don't. I don't care anything about you. I just decided to have you down here.
Not many people do. They just
Oh.
they just like the decisions I make. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're not.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, in that 20 years, I spent time on patrol. Did field training officer for a couple years.
I loved you as a field training officer. It made me laugh so hard.
My rookies didn't.
Oh my god. I loved it when you had a bad rookie, and I was like,
Yeah.
you get so mad.
I tell you, my rookies that did well in the department, they always came and thanked me for everything I did. But the same things that I did for them, for the ones that shouldn't have made it,
Yeah.
they were not very appreciative. they just thought I was a dick.
I can't even think of one of the bad ones that you had. Do you know one of the bad ones that didn't make it when we were back second north together? I don't remember one meeting where we like went somewhere and like I had a bad rookie as a girl as who I had. She was horrible. And you had somebody, you know who it is. And you had somebody, and I remember both of us would be like, fuck life, I'm done.
I'll tell you this one that I had. He was a lateral from a different department, and I had him the last phase that he was supposed to go through. He was going to get cut loose from me. Everybody that had him before was like, yeah, he's fine. They didn't really get into much or whatever. Like, he's a lateral. He'll be all right.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, well, I treat him just the same as anybody else, right? I'm going to evaluate him the same.
Yeah.
And we were coming down to one of the main roads on the north side of town that normally has a lot of drug activity, and he decided he was going to stop a car, and it was this old beat up like a 1988 Ford F-150, and he lights it up. It starts turning into a gas station. Well, as it's turning into the gas station, the passenger door flies open, and the passenger gets out and just fucking bolts. Truck continues on, pulls into the parking space. He gets out, walks up to the car like nothing ever happened, walks up, starts talking to the guy, and I'm watching this guy run the fuck away. And I'm like, whatever, man, I'm gonna let him do his thing. And he talks to the driver. He comes back. He sits in the car. He's like, I'm gonna write him a ticket. So say you to signal. I said, okay, cool, man. And passenger door is still standing wide open, right? And he walks back up to the driver, gives him his ticket, and he's like, appreciate your cooperation. Have a nice day. And when this guy gets out of the truck, when I tell you, I could see on his face that the relief and the fear at the same time. He was like, oh my God, thank God I got away with that. Goes around to the other side, closes his passenger side door, and walks inside. And this kid gets in the car with me. And I said, so how do you think that went? And he goes, I think it went pretty good. I was very professional with him and talked to him. I said, oh, okay, okay. I said, was there anything odd about that traffic stop? And he's like, no. I said, no. Are you sure? He goes, yeah, no. I said, okay. I said, what about the passenger? Where was he? He goes, he didn't have a passenger. I said, did he not? He's like, no. I said, you didn't see the passenger get out and run? And he's like, there was no passenger. I said, bro, you didn't see the passenger side door fly open and a black male dressed in black shirt and white pants run that way, right? And he's like, no, did somebody run? I said, yeah. And we had dash cams at this time, right? So I played it back, and clear as day, you can see this motherfucker jump out and run. I said, you didn't notice the passenger side door open the entire time? No, sir. I said, that's a problem. Said, that's a severe problem that you didn't notice any of that. And we started arguing for a little bit. I said, look, man, I don't know what you did in your last department. Yeah. I said, but if you continue to do stuff like this, I said, I'm going to extend you. And he looked me dead in the eyes and he said, why don't you fucking show me how to police? I said, this motherfucker right here. I said, you know what? Get the fuck out. So we walk around. I get in my driver's seat. I said, I'm going to show this motherfucker how to police. So I drive off. I said, I guarantee you within 5 minutes, I'll have a stolen car and I'll have a gun. And he's like, no, you won't. I said, all right, motherfucker. So we turned down the main strip going east and west to the city. This car comes out of one of these hotels, little green Ford Taurus, pulls out in front of me. I said, yep. I said, that's a stolen car. Pull it over. Car fucking pulls into a gas station. I walk up, start talking to him, get him out or whatever. And you can smell the weed inside the car. And start going. She gives permission to search the car. Passenger's nervous as shit. Go start searching through it. Pull out a gun. Laid it on top of the car. Pulled out a fucking pound of marijuana. Laid it on top of the roof. I said, uh-oh. Just pulled out a bunch of bags of meth. Laid it on top of the car. Pulled out some pills. Laid it on top of the car. I walked over. I said, do the fucking paperwork, motherfucker. And he goes, okay.
Sorry.
Next day, he turned in his resignation paperwork. I said, good on you. Fuck you, man. Piece of shit. He thought he was the cat's pajamas. He was not.
That's a weird saying, but yeah.
That's my saying.
The cats wear pajamas. Kevin.
So anyway, I did time as an FTO, and after that I went to K9.
Like how you refer to it like it's prison. I did time as an FTO.
So then I went to K9 for a little while, and honestly, that was the most fun I've had in the department.
Really?
I mean, you got paid to play with a dog
Yeah.
for 8, 9 hours a day. And not only that, it was, you spent all that time training the dog, teaching it how to do stuff. Yeah, he catches the decoys whenever they're hiding in buildings or whatever. But when you actually go out there and you're on a murder suspect track, or you're on somebody that just robbed somebody, or just shot somebody or whatever, and you watch your dog actually do it. It's like having a kid, right? When you see your kid take his first steps, right? You're like, oh my God, it's the coolest thing in the world. Well,
Yeah.
watching that dog work it and work it, work and work, work, and then slowly he homes in on that guy. And then all of a sudden you just hear a bunch of bitches screaming, and that dog just fucking just, it's the greatest feeling in the world.
You did have a good dog. There's a
Yeah.
few of them. It's like, don't even call them out. But you had a good working dog.
Yeah. I love that dog.
Mm.
He was good. But I did time and then, and I got out of that unit, went back to patrol, did FTO again for a little while.
Because you didn't have enough the first time.
I did not. FTO was a fun time if you had the right rookies.
It was cool to see them get molded, but Jesus, those bad ones, man.
Yeah. Well, it was the same as like I said on K9. You spend all that time training them, and then you see them go off and do good things, right? It's like, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, you're right. Because there are some rookies that I can name that I'm like, oh man, look at you go.
And there's some that you look at and you're like, God, I should have fired you when I had the chance.
Hey, I can also say none of the ones that I thought should not be cops ever made it out of my car, though. I don't think.
I tried, but sometimes they slip through the cracks.
But I wasn't an FTO as long as you were either, and I was an FTO way long ago.
Yeah, there's a slew of rookies out there. But anyway, I did that. I got done with that and decided to. It started wearing on me at one point, and I was like, I'm done. I can't handle it. Yeah, I can't handle any more bad rookies, because they were stressing me out pretty bad. And then it was the fight with not just the rookie, but the rookies that needed to go, and then admin saying, well, we need to give them another shot. We need to see if they're for sure that way, or you just being a dick. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not being a dick. I'm being a dick to everybody. So it's all the same, but
yeah, I had to fight on the admin side of things. It's like, well, no, they need to go. Well, why do they?
Yeah.
Here's 12 reasons. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I always documented it well, whether they were good or bad. They got documented pretty well, so I did my part. And there's a few that left that there's a few that I had a hand in that weren't mine, that I had to write DORs on just to make sure they didn't fucking get cut.
Yeah.
But they all ended up resigning, the ones that needed to go. There's a few that slipped through the cracks, but they
happens.
Couldn't help that. But after that, I took about 2 years off from FTO, and then I got promoted, went the sergeant route, and I felt that was a better fit for me at the time, because I was going through a lot personally and mentally through the department, that I needed a change, and I figured doing the sergeant route would be a better fit, because I could take that leadership route instead of being the one on the ground speaking their mind. I could be the one taking their voices and pushing them up the chain. So I did that, and then I got picked to be over the SWAT team, and I did that for a little while. And
you were good at that, by the way.
Yeah, I like to think the team liked me.
Well, I don't know how they.
No, that from what I'm told, they like me, because I put back in for it actually, and waiting to hear back if I can get back on.
Oh, really? Recently?
Yeah.
Oh,
so all of them has voiced their appreciation for me putting back in, because they want me back over there. So
I'll say you were, in my opinion, anyways. What does that matter? That you were good because you worked well with the other units that would show up to work in tandem with SWAT. I mean, you were good with SWAT, but I wasn't on SWAT when you did that. But I was over negotiations at the time, and it was very much so, hey, let's learn from one another and fucking do this thing. So I don't know. I think you were very good at it. You were respectful with all the other units, and I mean, you knew your shit. So, and you knew what your team's strong points were and where you need to work on stuff, and you were open to everybody talking and learning shit. So I don't know.
SWAT guys want to do SWAT stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So they're going to want to do their thing all the time. I took the route of, listen, there's a time and place for us to do our thing, and there's a time and place for CNRT to do their thing, BOM to do their thing, and whatever. Sometimes we have to sit back and wait, and we were all one big team. It was just working together to make sure that we did the right thing.
Yeah, that was one of the easiest command posts I've ever had to deal with, was the ones that you were on them. It's a compliment, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll say that about everybody, but
yeah, I enjoyed it so much. I'm trying to get back on it.
Yeah, you're
We'll see.
glutton for punishment. No.
Mhm.
I hope they make you go through the SWAT school this time.
Yeah,
Hope
see.
you have to put up with that shit.
I'll just start coughing and be done with it.
You're like, after I get asthma.
Bring out my inhaler and be like,
I can't think of any of the command posts we're on. I mean, I know we're on a few of them together, but I don't remember any of them specifically. I just know that it was so easy to talk to you, be like, Kevin, what the fuck? And we just fucking talk, and it was fine.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the way it should be. I mean, it shouldn't be. A lot of times there was a lot of, say it, egos that were in the way. Everybody wanted to be the big dick in charge, and
Yep.
you weren't always the big dick in charge.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the things that I was always told that they appreciated about me, whether it was on patrol or FTO or on the SWAT team, was that I wasn't afraid to speak up when it needed to be spoken to.
Yeah.
Right? And in my mind, I mean, that's how it should be. You shouldn't sit back and be afraid to say, "Hey, this is a stupid idea,"
Mm-hmm.
right? Or you don't have to say that's a stupid idea, but you can say, "Hey, we should probably look at maybe doing it this way," right? Did you know that we have this option, right? Did you know that we can use the Bearcat to breach that door and none of us ever even have to go up to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, no, we didn't know that, right? Well, maybe if you'd have spent a little time fucking researching what your units do,
Yeah.
you would know
Come
this
watch
stuff.
on a training day.
Yeah, especially if you're the one that's going to be making the ultimate decision, right?
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to come to you every time and be like, hey, these are all the things that we can do as a team. You pick one, right? You should know ahead of time, hey, these are their capabilities. These are what they can do. And I think those ones that we worked together, there was that because we talked beforehand during training days, or we talked, just between each other, hey, what can y'all do? What can we do? How can you do something that we can't? Or what do you need us to do to help you? Communication. It's vital to it. But,
Yeah, I'll say like which I haven't said this before, but I don't even like to bring it up because I was there for like a blip. But I went through the whole SWAT school thing, and I was a sergeant in SWAT for a short period of time because of some other political stuff that went on in the background. But it also takes that mature mindset, which I completely admit I was not prepared for at that point in time because I had not been through enough like adversity to know how to stand my ground on some stuff. But you were. I mean, you were good for that role. That's a hard pill to swallow, especially as a sergeant.
well, don't get me wrong. I wasn't in SWAT. I wasn't one of their operators or whatever. I told them from the very beginning, some of the qualities are there, but I never went through the school. I never do.
What the fuck? Like,
Didn't do the training they did.
Why did
It
that
was-
stop at me and the other guy? Like, what the fuck was that shit?
Well,
I hold a little bit of a grudge. Like, wait a second, was I the one and only? Like, everybody
They-
should have to fucking suffer
they
through that
didn't.
shit.
They didn't think you'd make it through.
I know, they really didn't. They didn't realize how pissed I get when somebody says I can't do something.
They were like, "Watch this," and she was like, "Watch this, motherfucker." No, I took a different approach to it when I got over the team. It wasn't I wasn't trying to be an operator. I wasn't trying to do what they did. They were set with the way that they were. They had a good team leader. They had good assistant team leaders. Their squads were set up good. I went in with the understanding that I was there to get them what they needed, to make sure that what they wanted happened. And as long as it was well within the law and well within policy, that we made sure it happened. And then I was there to be their voice on command post to whoever was in charge to say, hey, this is what we want to do. This is how we can do it. And we can get it done right now. It's your decision to make, type thing. So I was there to give them whatever. Right. And for me, I never wore their pin. I wore the shirts we wore in training, but that was just for uniformity and to make sure that we were all looking our best. But their pin, they even yelled at me one time. I had to go to a hearing, and two of them came with me. And when I was in my class A's, they were like, "Where's your pin?" And I was like, "Nah, man." I said, "I'm good with that." I said, I didn't earn it. Y'all earned it." I said, "I'm good." And they're like, "Nah, fuck that. You should wear one." I was like, "Well, I don't have one, so we're just we'll go in and we'll do this." That to me was that's their thing. They went through the training for it. They went through all the bullshit, and they do it day in and day out. So I let them have it, and I was there for whatever they needed. I think that's why they liked it so much.
Yeah, I mean, I think because you respected what their training and their knowledge base was. I mean, it's so fucking simple. That's all it is. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, you're the decision maker when it comes to a lot of stuff. You're facilitating, I guess, the conversation, but it's not, like, hey, I haven't spent 10 years perfecting this skill they have, and this is the information they gave me. It's hard for a lot of people, though.
Right.
So.
But that was when I went into it, I learned as much as I could about everything that they did. I'd sit and talk to the snipers, ask them, hey, what are you doing? How are you doing this? What are you capable of doing? If you if you were to have to take a shot in this scenario, what would you do? Right. And then just learn their positions on it.
Yeah.
And then talk to the team leader. Hey, how does the team operate? How do y'all do it if it's a split house? How do you do it if it's a hostage situation? How you do it if it's this? How you do it if it's that? And then I went to some of the same trainings that they did just to learn. So that way I didn't seem like an incompetent ass when I had to go speak in front of the admin when it was time. And I think that helped too, and they respected it. So they were able to worry about just doing SWAT shit. And they said, I just got to tell Sarge what we're about to do, and he's going to take it from there. He'll tell us if it's not going to happen or what. So I enjoyed it.
So what'd you do after that then?
I stayed on patrol, and I still do patrol, but I'm over the incident response team right now.
Oh, I didn't know you were over that.
That I did the same thing that I do with everything. I mean, I got into it, and I said, hey, sat down with all the people that were still on it, all the team leaders, all the squad leaders, the people in it. Hey, what do you do? How do you do it? How do you respond to this? How do you do that?
Yeah.
And I just try to learn as much as I can, so that way when it comes time, I mean, I'm not sitting there with the proverbial dick in my hand.
Proverbial, he actually does carry it. That's why it's so awkward.
Sarge, I'm really going to need you to put that away. All right? This is how I make decisions, damn it.
I gotta think with both my hands.
Gotta have a clear route from this one to that one. Can't have any fucking clothes in the way. This is bullshit.
Fucking modern police.
That's how we did it in my day. That's how we're going to do it now. Did you imagine that, though?
No, I mean, yeah, sadly, I don't
Walking up on a command post. Hey, Captain, listen, this is what we're...
They talk about throwing you out of your OODA loop. I'd be like, whoa, I have no idea what to do right now.
That's how I always got my way on command posts. They walk up like, what the fuck? I just need a yes or no, Captain, right now.
No.
All right, hit it. Captain said hit it.
I was I don't even remember how long it was, but I was a sergeant over the incident response team for a little bit. I had to go out there to march one day. I could never figure that shit out.
Being in the same cadence?
That's so bad. I was like, Sarge, I can't walk. I can't do this. I was like, I gotta fucking quit this team. I have no idea how you walk together. I can't do it. And they're like, just turn left like this. I can't. I still don't know how they do it and what turn.
It's not hard.
Yeah, well, it was hard.
It takes a little coordination.
I have none of that. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you were over that team right now. Who else? There's a couple of them in there. A couple sergeants.
Yeah, there's 6 sergeants and a lieutenant.
So what units haven't you been a part of?
Wasn't on bomb. Wasn't on
those bomb guys.
Yeah, they're that's a different breed. Hey,
dude, I
wouldn't mess with that.
That bomb squad. I mean, that bomb tech school seems like it's really fucking hard, and I would not want to be a part of that. But also just them randomly placing bombs, even fake ones. I'm like, like when I was at the academy, one of those guys was bomb squad guys, and keep putting bombs in my office, even though I knew it was fake. Right? Part of me is always like, wait, could this be real?
He's fucking with me, right?
Yeah, you never really. It is ticking, and it has a little timer thing on it. Oh no!
There's there's a lot of math involved.
Yeah,
in that shit, and a lot of chemicals. I never had the I won't say the brain capacity. I'm sure I could have learned it, but I didn't care to.
Yeah,
it was just too much for me. Like we had talked about earlier, we went to the suicide bomber prevention thing in New Mexico, and that was basically just if you know who has a bomb, you shoot them in the face and you fucking run, right? Because if they got a dead man switch, it's going off, and if they don't, then you lucked out and things went well. But those bomb techs, they have to go in there and actually disarm that thing, and that for me is that's too much. It's too much patience for me.
Yeah,
I'd get bored.
Yeah,
sitting there looking at it and like, which wire do you cut? I don't fucking know, man. I'm just, I'm gonna cut this one and hope for the best. There we go. It was I remember it was a T-shirt or something for bomb techs or whatever. How do you deal with the stress of a bomb? And they were like, well, it's either my problem or all of a sudden it's not my problem, right? So, I was like, yeah, that's true.
No, not about that life.
But I didn't do that one, and I hadn't been on CNRT. That was it always interested me, but it was always because of the movie The Negotiator with Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh yeah,
I love that movie. I always thought, I was like, that'd be a cool job to have, right? But as I got into the department, and the more stress and the more PTSD that I got, I was like, you know what? I said, I probably shouldn't do that job, because I'm sitting there talking to the guy on the phone, and he's all like, man, my wife just left me, right? It's like, listen, dude, you think you got problems? Have a drink. all right, let me tell you about this, right? And then I start telling him about my problems, and then eventually the team's gonna have to end up me off the ledge, or he's gonna be like, "Fuck this, man! You got issues. I'm coming the fuck out.
I'm scared of you, man." What's going on?
End up being like
lethal weapon.
Yeah, up on the roof with him. You want to jump, man? Let's jump. I'm ready. Are you? That was always my holdback of it. I was like, I said I don't need to talk some guy off the ledge because I've gone through a lot of shit, and it's hard to
empathize.
Yeah. It's hard to hear someone that they're the worst thing in their life is that they just got laid off.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, I get it that may be the worst thing to you. Right. Let me tell you a little something. Right. Put it in perspective for them so that, I don't know.
I'll agree. I think if you apply yourself to anything, you'll be really fucking good at it. But that's not one of the teams I'd be like, no, you should definitely do this. Unless all of a sudden you just wanted to and had a passion for it. Because I've never been a negotiator. I've just been over the team. And dude, some of those guys are really freaking good at it.
Yeah. The other side to that is I don't know that I would enjoy being on the phone with someone, talking to them for hours or whatever, and then they still end up, taking their own life.
Yeah.
And either you're listening to it or that, hey, I tried and it didn't fucking work and this guy's still dead. Or he's got hostages and he ends up fucking, killing his wife and kids, and you're like, fuck, man, I couldn't stop that. So.
And you and I are probably thinking of an incident where somebody off themselves on the phone, and one of the guys on the team were on the phone with them, and that on the team, meaning the negotiations team. Yeah, and I felt for that dude. Like, that sucks.
Yeah. Was that the one that I was on, where the guy walked out of the house and shot himself in the chest?
Oh no, not that one. But that one too.
Yeah.
No, this other one was by the lake, or by the lake or river, whatever the fuck it is.
Oh, yeah,
that one.
I know which one you're talking about.
No, that one you're talking about, I was like right by the guy. I was like, hey, what are those guys doing right there? I'm in a buddy's car. No one, right outside there. I was like, oh shit, dude, that's the target's house.
we were sitting. I remember watching it. A dude walked out of his house. The SWAT team was yelling at him, giving commands, and he said, "No, fucking class." My God.
Like, I had no idea because I'm sitting in, a buddy's car. The house is right to my right. I'm like, oh,
why is this guy coming out of his house? Didn't we tell him to stay inside?
Shit, we're right beside the fucking house. I was so mad. The guy I was in the car with, I just hopped in the car with him, not fucking knowing where he was parked. I just had faith. The guy's brain matter was on the fucking car, damn near.
Yeah,
it was a good time.
It happens.
Yeah. I don't think it does.
I'm familiar with a certain time where it happened.
It happens one time.
Next thing you know, you're a piece of shit. You're the worst thing that ever happened.
Yeah, that was fun. I don't think that's normal people's good times.
It's
normal.
It's not. I try explaining that to sometimes you're right, family or friends or whatever, and they don't see half the shit that we deal with.
Yeah. Well, God, I hope not.
And if you are, you're in the wrong profession, there, boss. But no, you'll get. It's how do you deal with that? Right? And it's like I don't know, man. I've seen so much of it that it's just it just happened. All right. Yeah, I remember one time we went to a traffic accident, and it was off of one of our major highways. It was right down the road from a strip club. It was 7 o'clock in the morning, right? So night shift was getting off of the strip club. She was either asleep or she was intoxicated, and veered off the road, hit a culvert, and ripped the entire top half of the car off. Right. Well, it ripped the entire top half of her off as well, right?
Instant, yeah.
And so she died instantly. And we get there, we've got the roads cleared off and everything, and we're just waiting on the traffic homicide investigators to get there. We're waiting on crime scene and all that. We're just hanging around. It's just four cops sitting around at 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning, right? And there are stiletto heels, and there's money, and there's perfume bottles, and there's underwear everywhere. One of the officers was like, we should probably keep this stuff from flying away, all the money and everything.
Yeah.
And so they put all the money, and they put one of the stripper's heels on top of it. And we're standing there and we're looking at it, and we're like, that looks like a memorial. That's kind of odd, right? And then we started joking about what her stripper name was. We were trying to figure that out. Right? Yeah. And then we were trying to figure out what the name of how many clients of hers were going to be upset that Gunneman didn't get to come back to work that night or whatever. That was. And, it's just, we started laughing. We started finding it funny. Then we started making jokes about the better half of her was saved or whatnot. We look over, and there's about 5 or 6 strippers standing in the parking lot next to us, right,
no.
crying their fucking eyes out. Right? I look over and I went, well, fuck, because we weren't being quiet. And they were, I said, somebody should probably ask them to go stand a little bit further.
Yeah.
So we all kind of meandered behind a car so we could be blocked and kept up the jokes. Right?
You guys are just shaking in laughter.
So somebody walks over and they're like, hey, get y'all to move back a little bit. They're like, is that my friend?
Oh.
And he's like, I don't know, man. I'm sorry. And we're over here laughing because we got a memorial made up of fucking dildos and fucking stiletto heels and shit. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, there's no way in this scenario because he joked because I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's funny because I'm not 100% sure anymore how you cope with the situation. But then no matter what the public sees, you're like, oh my God, they're assholes.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, listen,
Yeah.
if you had to do this on a day-to-day basis, shit.
If I can't laugh about it, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna
God.
get a bullet. And I don't know what else to tell you.
Gun'll start looking like a lollipop. Shit. Off castle.
He didn't like us making fun of strippers.
Well, he did just get his balls cut off recently,
Oh,
okay?
man.
He's still pissed about it.
He said cinnamon ain't gonna be there anymore. Poor dog.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't, well,
it's a hard thing to describe unless you've been through it.
yeah.
I think there's some girl, this other cop that showed up to a scene and some brains fell off the ceiling and fell on her and she left out screaming because this dude blew his brains out with his shotgun, something like that made it really spew everywhere. So they're spewed over this entire ceiling and it drops on her and she's a rookie, so she rolls out screaming. And we're barreling laughing out the damn apartment complex. And then the media's right there. And you're like, shush, 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 shush. You know, like, yeah, it's fucking horrible. But I don't know how else to react. Like at this point in time. Because it looks horrible, but it's like, we're not laughing at the dude dying. That's just not funny. Yeah. The worst part of that was the guy said he told the girl to go get some apples. She went to go get apples. Some dude there. Some other cop said, how about them apples?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, shit. The brains fell from the ceiling. It was a lot.
Yeah.
It's very sad, though.
If you don't laugh about it, it'll eat you alive.
Yeah, I mean, it still does, kind of, but that one didn't particularly. You send your girlfriend out to go get apples.
No, she's gonna come back and find you dumbass.
12 apples.
Not 10, not 11, 12. It is 1 o'clock in the morning. What the fuck do you need apples for?
Jesus. So, but I'm probably going to hell, but it's okay. Yeah. You'll be there, and so will many others.
Oh yeah. No, seriously, if you don't laugh about it, the ones that you don't laugh about are the ones that eat you alive.
Oh, God, yeah.
I'll tell they had one of them like that you just couldn't laugh about because it was just a horrible fucking situation. We got a call. I was on third shift one time. It stuck with me to this day just because we couldn't laugh about it. I mean, there was just nothing funny about it.
Yeah.
We get a call. A woman said that she had her baby and she was thinking about hurting the baby or whatever. And I think the baby was 6 months old, maybe something like that. Between 6 and a year. But she was having suicidal thoughts. She wanted to hurt the baby and whatnot. And they kept giving us different locations for her. And we're looking all over the place for her. Like that, ain't no reason to do that. It's a baby, right? Don't fuck with that. Well, then we get another call. Her grandmother calls in and says, hey, she done stabbed this baby. You need to get here right now. So we get there. I was the first cop there. Paramedics had just arrived just before I did. I walked up and they are pulling this 6-month-old baby out of a car seat. And it's got a 8-inch butcher knife sticking out of its stomach. And they're trying to wrap it up to hold it in place so they can get it to the hospital. The paramedic looked at me and you could see in his eyes that it wasn't good for that baby. I mean, a 6-inch butcher knife ain't gonna be good for nobody in that way. But the mother was just pacing back and forth saying, if that motherfucker had just answered me, I said, it took everything I had not to whip that woman's ass. I had to walk over to her, turn her around, cuff her, sit her in my seat without fucking beating her ass. And that was the hardest thing that I think I've ever had to do. Okay? Yeah. Because she needed it. Yeah. She deserved it. It should have been done to her. Right. But walked over, cuffed her, sat her in my seat, and went to go check on the paramedics and the baby. And they were rushing that baby off to the hospital to get care for it. And, we did our thing. We didn't talk to her, called the investigators, got crime scene out there and everything. The investigators get there. They said, hey, just bring her to the investigative division. Brought her down there. She got interrogated. And they did their thing and pulled videos and everything, talked to her, figured out where she went. She drove that baby to Walmart, went into Walmart, purchased a knife, walked back outside, drove off, and then stabbed that baby. When they asked her why she did it, she said because she was trying to get the baby daddy to answer her and get back together, because the baby daddy didn't want nothing to do with her because she was crazy. He was upset that he wasn't answering her calls, but he was at work. Like, guy has a job. He's trying to take care of the kid. He's trying to do the right thing. And she got mad at him because he wouldn't answer his phone. So she stabbed the baby to get back at him. I checked on the baby the next day. They had rushed it to get special care. They said that baby's never going to walk again. The knife had gone through her, through most of her intestines and her spleen and all that, and had severed her spine. She'll never walk again. She's screwed for the rest of her life. That's a horrible thing to do to a kid. Right? So there was no joking about that. And that's one that stuck with me for a while. My ex-wife is going to be a little upset if I tell this story, but it happens.
It happens.
I worked third shift.
Yeah.
I'd come home that morning, didn't want to say anything to the wife and the kids or whatever, because you don't want to bring that shit to them, right? They're getting ready for school, they're getting ready for work, right? That's not a story that you just, hey, hey, how you doing? Getting ready for work? Fucking, hey, by the way, a 6-month-old baby got stabbed in the fucking chest. Yeah. So I said, I'm going to sleep. So I went to sleep. Kids went to school. She went to work. And she called me close to the end of her shift. She's like, hey, some of the girls from work want to go out with their husbands and they want to meet you. Right. And I was like, listen, I said, I don't want to do that tonight. Right. I had woken up earlier in the day because I couldn't sleep. And then kids came home from school. So I stayed up the whole day. I'd been awake for, however long, couple hours. She said, well, they really want to meet you. They really want to see you and hang out, whatever. I'd really like you to do this. I said, I'm tired. I have to go to work tonight. I don't want to do this. But she asked again. I said, okay, fine. We'll go out to dinner, but that's it. I can't stay too late. She's like, okay, that's all we want to do is just have dinner. So we go to dinner, and God bless them. They didn't mean anything by it. They were talking about their day, and I'm tired. And she could see that I was in a pissy mood because I had that look on my face, right? The look everybody's familiar with. And they're trying to include me in the conversation, but it was just, oh, I'm sorry that happened. Yeah, okay. And then one of their husbands tried talking to me. But you know how people that don't do law enforcement, they always ask, what's the craziest thing you've seen, right? And it's, look, man, my definition of crazy is a lot different than yours, okay? Yeah. And they're like, oh, yeah, well, I get it. I understand what y'all go through. I have stressful days at work too. And I was like, Jesus, here it comes. He said, I had a stressful day too. And I said, okay. I said, what happened, man? Right? And he's like, well, I work at the Coca-Cola plant. And I was like, this motherfucker right
Did it
here.
fucking blow up?
He said I had a shipment that was supposed to go to one place, but it got messed up and went to a different place. Right? So they didn't get as many Cokes as they were supposed to get to fill their order, right? Yeah. So I spent the whole day trying to reroute these shipments in order to get them the correct amount of Cokes. Right? And I looked at him, and then I looked at my wife, and I could see in her face, she was like, don't do it. Don't do it. I said, nope. I said, he asked for it. Yeah. I said, hey, man, I said, that sucks, man. I said, that's a pretty stressful day. Yeah, he says, but I don't, So yeah, I know what you mean when you say it's stressful. I said, oh yeah. I said, let me tell you about my night. And I went through the whole story and told him about the fucking baby that I had to watch with a 8-inch butcher knife sticking out of its stomach, right? And their eyes were wide as fuck, right? And my wife's over there like, Jesus Christ. She's like, you couldn't just let it go, right? I said, no, he asked. Yeah. He asked, right? And after that, they were like, okay, we're not going to ask him any more questions. I said, that's how I wanted to do. So I ate my tater tots. I got done, and she's like, are you ready to go? I said, yeah, I am. I have been ready to go. We went home. We had an argument after that, and I was like, I don't know what you wanted me to say. I said, you try to have a talk with people that don't go through it. I told him I didn't want to talk about it, but he insisted. I said he tried to have something in common. I said, it just was not the same. Right? No. I said, I get it. That's probably his stress. I said, but the level of stress that we go through is a lot fucking different. Yeah. I said, Jesus, that was a rough night.
A buddy of ours, anyways, it's a civilian now that was a PD, and he said, he got so mad one day because of something about a printer or something like that. It's like, wait a second, is this what the fuck? Like, chill. Like, it puts a whole other perspective on shit. Because I think the worst baby one I did was, which I won't go into details about it, but the dad got mad at the mom, so she got out of the shower with the kid, and he shot the baby in the head right as they were getting out of the shower. Yeah, killed the baby, but the baby had the exact same date of birth as my kid, and that fucked with me. Still, because then I saw, the baby getting firefighters carried her out, and the dad stood outside with his arms up. And I was the second one there. The other cop had just beat me by a couple of seconds, and so he got the guy in custody. And was Oh, but it's
Mhm.
hard to restrain yourself not
Mhm.
to just fucking beat the shit out. And I get it, you're supposed to follow these rules and regulations, but it is a testament to one's character not to beat
Mhm.
the shit out of somebody that just killed an innocent child or
Mhm.
baby.
That was the most restraint I've ever had
Yeah, you
in
feel
my life.
icky afterwards. Like, no,
Yep.
I feel like I did something wrong not
Yeah.
beating the shit out of
Yeah.
them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
100%. Now, with, speaking of kid deaths,
Oh God, what's a segue
well,
with
no.
that?
Uh, so anyway, not going into details, but, my daughter had died earlier in the year. So I was contemplating moving to the criminal investigation division
Yeah.
this year when it opened up. And I was like, well, do I wanna try for the SWAT thing again, or do I wanna go to that and just, because I got 5 years left till I retire, do I wanna just
Are you gonna retire in
coast
5
on
years?
out? I hope so. That's my plan. But my kids wanna go to college. We'll see. We'll see how that
I
goes.
mean, there's other ways.
But the only opening was in the special victims unit. I was thinking about it. I was like, I said, "Well, I'll put my name in it and think." And then when I found out that it was the SVU unit, I said,
Mhm.
I don't think I'm ready for that." I said, "I couldn't deal with seeing cases about kids that
Mhm.
went through shit that my daughter went through, and
Yeah.
then have to deal with that." So I didn't put it. I didn't take my name off, but I said, "Listen," because I talked to the lieutenant that was over it, and I said, just ignore my name completely." I couldn't have done that. That woulda that'd have fucking killed me, having to deal with that,
I don't know
It
how
was like
people do. I mean, especially you in your circumstance, but I don't know how anybody does for lengths of
yeah,
time. Deal with that correctly.
yeah, yeah. Well, and that's why I said, like, because with that, with just that one, right? There's been several kid-related incidents that I've dealt with that, but that one was having to deal with stuff like that. It's that in itself was like, I don't think I wanna deal with that, I don't wanna
Yeah.
have to sit back and have that patience and say, "Listen, we need to just do this the correct way instead of
Mhm.
just beating the ever living shit out of them," you know?
Yeah.
And then after everything that happened with her, I was like, I don't think I could.
I wanna ask you a question. I don't know,
Mhm.
whatever. If it's not right, I'll cut it out. But how did we fail you as friends after your daughter died? Like,
You
what could
didn't?
we have done to help you more? Because I'll be honest, that was I didn't know. I think a lot of people didn't know what to do other than reach
Mhm.
out, but I don't know. I know that we failed you somehow. Like it just,
No.
I don't know.
Nobody nobody failed me. And I say this as me also. If I had a friend that had the same situation go through, right? I think I would have handled it the same way that everyone else did. I'll give kudos to my family and my
Hmm.
ex-wife. When all of that happened, my second ex-wife, she came through in a way that I never expected. She took care of all the services, all the arrangements for that, taking care of the celebration of life. She was there to help get my other kids with me. She was there just at the hospital getting us whatever we needed or whatever, right? My family came down. I told them not to, but they're not gonna let me be by
Yeah,
myself
they
on something
shouldn't.
like that. They came down, they drove down. They were living in fucking 8 states away. They drove all the way down and came to help out. My sister did a hell of a job. My dad and my brother and my mom even, they they helped out more than I can ever thank them for. As far as my friends and coworkers and everything, everyone has done more than I've ever thought that you should. People were reaching out to me that I didn't even have their numbers saved in my phone. As far as my close friends, you and everybody else, just the reaching out and saying, "Hey, if you ever need anything, we're here for it." I get it. It's hard to give up your life to not give up your life, but give up the life you're living
Hmm.
to stop everything and help someone that's going through it. But there were some that were able to do it. Like you, I didn't expect you to do it. You had a daughter of your own, that you were taking
Yeah,
care
but
of.
still, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I felt bad because, and not that it's about me whatsoever, but I wish that I could have done something more for you, and so I'm very sorry. I wish I could have been more present in that.
You,
I didn't know how you'd react to it because you don't know how anybody's gonna react to
yeah,
that.
I tell you the best thing that I had was, and I'll tell her this till the day she dies, was my sister.
Is that your only
She
sibling, your sister, or you got more?
No, I have 2 brothers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Her and I are close though. But she came down and it wasn't "Hey, what do you need? This is what we're gonna do," this type. She was just there. My
Mhm.
dad too. My dad he'd take the dog for a walk, so I didn't have to. Stuff like that. They were just there. If I wanted to talk, I could have said something. And they just them being there was helping out. So there was one night that I hit the very bottom, and it was the second time that I've ever been there. I'd been there once before, and it almost didn't end well. But I was just out of nowhere, I started thinking about her, and I just started drinking,
Mhm.
which I shouldn't have, but I was trying to not think about her, you know? She had always had this way the way my chair is, right? The
Mhm.
one that I've had this chair for like fucking 18 years. It was my chair. It's molded to me. It's my chair. Everybody
Yeah,
knows
yeah,
it's
yeah.
dad's chair. It's the most comfortable chair in the house. They fight over it when I'm not there. But she'd come sliding out of her room on her socks, like
Mhm.
Tom Cruise in Risky Business, right?
Yeah,
She'd
yeah.
slide out, and I knew she wanted something because she'd go, "Hey, Dad," and I'd go,
Yeah.
"Yeah, what you need?" Right? And she'd ask for something, whether it's sleep over at a friend's house or if we can go get some food or something. Uh, but I was sitting in my chair and I kept thinking, she's going to slide out any minute now, right?
Yeah.
She's going to slide out any minute. And she just wouldn't. And so I started drinking to forget that, to try to just stop thinking about her sliding out of there. And I guess I was texting some friends at the time. And I think I said something like, guys, I said, I really miss her, or something along the lines of, I wish I had her here right now or something. And I knew what I was about to do. Okay.
Yeah.
But I didn't exactly say what I was about to do. And I think it might have been a cry for help. It might not have been. I don't know. Maybe I was just saying, hey, you know what, just I don't know. Maybe it was the alcohol talking. I don't know. But within 10 minutes, they were beating on my door. I contemplated. I said, I'm not answering it. And I heard him yelling, hey, I'm here.
Mhm.
Open the door. Right. And I said, I don't think I'm going to open it. But he beat again. And I said, fuck it, fine. So I went and opened the door, and he came in, and then two other people came in, and we were sitting down, and he came and he took the gun away from me. And I remember looking at him, and I said, I got other ones, right? And he's like, yeah, I know, but this is the closest one. Right? And I said, all right, just so you know. And I had my bottle of Gentleman Jack, and I kept drinking. After another one came to the door, and another one, and another one. And I think there was one that was on duty at the time, and several of them lived, 30, 40 minutes away. And that helped a lot, because the one that showed up first, he was like, look, man, he said, what you said wasn't exactly like you were about to do something. He said, but everybody
Yeah.
knew the way you
Yeah.
were talking and what you said. Then I guess I stopped talking to him for like, 2 or 3 minutes. And
Yeah.
he said, I called everybody that I fucking could think of. And
Mhm.
we came over, and we sat, and we talked about her a little bit, and then we talked about a lot of, shit that happened that we did in the department and stuff like that. It got to the point, I mean, we were there for a good couple hours just bullshitting. And it made me realize that she may be gone, but that's not everybody that's gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still got two other kids, and I love them to
Yep.
death. But knowing how many people were there for me helped out a lot. Right. Fuck, even you sent a letter, a handwritten letter, right? It may sound cheesy to a bunch of people. To
No
me,
worry.
that was a great gift, because you took the time to actually write the letter and to say, hey, I get you. If you need anything, I'm there. I appreciated that more than most. And then when we had her celebration of life, a lot of her family showed up. That if she had known or believed how many people
Mhm.
loved her, I don't think she would have ended up the way that she did. But the at the celebration of life, I think, was better for my younger two kids, because it showed them that no matter what happens, they didn't know half the people that I work with, but they now know that even though I don't know who they are, if
Yeah.
something were to happen to Dad or to one of us, these people are going to show up, and they're gonna help out in any way that they can. And I think that was good for them, because they were fucking troopers through the whole thing.
How are they now? Are they doing pretty good?
Yeah, as far as we can tell, I check in with my ex just to make sure. I ask them every now and then. They seem to have handled it well, and I think part of that was, I hate to say it, but I only get them every other weekend. They live far enough away that we can every other weekend works. We don't
Yeah.
have to waste gas and then take too much time out of the weekend to go get them. So they only really saw Emma every other weekend and some holidays and stuff. So they were used to her being not around a
Mhm.
lot. I think that's why it hit me more, because she was around all the time,
Yeah.
and now she's not. But to them, it was, well, maybe it's just a weekend that she's not here, or maybe
Yeah.
it's a weekend that we're not there. So I think maybe that made it easier on them. But I mean, we still talk about her with them, and we've got plans for her birthday this year, and they were all about it, just hanging out and having a cookie cake for her, because that was her favorite thing to do. They're like
Good.
me. They're not gonna
Allude to
come
it.
straight out and say, yeah, we're having a bad time, Dad. They're trying to be, I think they're trying to be strong for me, you know,
Yeah.
because they were, like I said, that was the second time that I was at that point, and they were kind of old enough to
Mhm.
understand it. back when the first time happened, because I tried explaining to them. I said, "Look," I said, "just because I'm this upset about Emma being gone, don't think I don't love y'all any less." Because that was one of my worries, was that they would think that I cared about her more than I cared about them because I was so upset
Yeah.
about that. But my boy, he's like, "Nah, Dad," he said, "We get it. He said, "We get it. She was my first kid, and she's 100%, she was the spitting image of me. I mean, we were damn near identical. I mean, the
Yeah. Yeah.
personality, people even told her that she looked exactly like me."
She
Oh,
did in a feminine way. She
yes,
looked just
yeah.
not that you're not feminine, you're kind
We joked about that one time. She's like, "People always say I look like you."
of
And I was like, "Well, is that a bad thing?" She's like, "You're a guy." And I said, "Well, you know," I said, "You look like a feminine version of me." Right? She's like, "I don't think that's a good thing." So I'm gonna take offense to that, but whatever. But no,
Yeah, she did.
I think they understood. 'Cause she had a bear that, she'd had since she was born. It was called, she called it Berry Berry White for Barry White,
Yeah.
and he was a polar bear.
That's very
Uh,
old for her age, actually.
well, she
Very,
didn't
very
name
white.
it,
Oh,
right?
okay, okay.
We named it.
Oh, okay, that makes
She
sense.
just
Sorry.
had it.
I was gonna say, she was wise at her young age.
Oh, man. Yeah, but, no, she had that, and then she took it everywhere. I mean, that was like it was her emotional support animal,
Yeah,
right? And, I remember she'd freak out if she ever thought she forgot him or whatever, right? And it's like, "Baby," I said, "Barry Barry White's okay." I said, We're just going to get Zaxby's, all right?
yeah,
Chill
yeah.
out, he'll be fine." And, I told the kids, went afterwards, and, "Look," I said, "y'all can go through her things, anything you want that reminds you of her or that you wanna keep, y'all are more than welcome to have it, but I'm just gonna let you know Barry Barry White's mine." I said, "I'm
Mhm.
keeping him, he's staying with me," and they're like, "No, we get it, you should have him instead of us." Right? And I was like, "Well, that's now that you put it that way, I kinda feel like a dick." I'm still
Yeah.
keeping it.
Still
So,
mine.
yeah. No, they were good. You could tell that that upset them, but they tried to be strong for me, so it was helpful. They're good kids.
Yeah, yeah, they are.
So,
I'll
like,
say I was glad that you had 2 other fuck, I don't know, I feel fucking horrible saying this, but I was happy that you had 2 other kids because I feel like that's the reason why a lot of people keep going because they got, other kids and, unfortunately, that isn't the first child death we've dealt with in our department,
mhm,
and, I think having other kids helps people, find other reasons to keep
mhm.
going on stuff, so
Yeah. No, I've thought the same thing, and I always feel bad about certain things that I think to myself, to me, it sounds selfish, but trying to think of an example. I know I've told my sister, she could probably give a better one.
like, grieving sounded selfish or just what
Yeah,
you
yeah, like, I don't know, I've said things just like talking to myself that I feel bad for saying it, but when she explains it, she's like, "No, it's okay to feel that, but,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that you loved her any less or whatever." Like, when she asked, "Hey, how are you doing?
Mm,
How are you moving on? Are you doing whatever?" And I'll say something to a friend, they're like, "I got this going on." It's like, "Hey, look, just call me whenever you need me. I don't have anything at home anymore. You can
mhm.
call me anytime of the night." I
Yeah.
feel bad for saying it, but at the same time, it's true. I don't have anything holding me back anymore. And I feel bad for saying that because she didn't hold me back.
No.
I had to change my life around her because she was my daughter. I was going to do everything to make sure she was taken care of. So there were times where I told friends, I can't go out, I can't come out, I got to take care of her. I can't come
Yeah.
to this party because she needs me here or whatever. But now yeah, man, I got all the time in the world, right? And I feel bad for saying it because she used to be everything that took up my time. She's not, and in my head it sounds selfish, but
No.
it's not really. It's just, hey, I don't have anything holding me back
But I
anymore.
mean, regardless, she
Um,
was 18, right? She was
she
18?
yeah, she had just turned 18.
So, regardless, you would have been saying that at this point
Mhm.
anyways, because she would have been doing her own thing,
Right.
probably, so
Right, but in my
yeah.
head, that's different than she's dead because I don't have because I had this time because she's dead, not because she went out and she's living by
Yeah.
herself type thing. It's just one of those things. In my head, it felt selfish, but when it was said back to you, it's like, well, okay, I get that.
Yeah.
So
So, do you feel like you need to occupy your time more now so you don't sit and idle too much?
I've got a shit ton of hobbies that I can't even fucking keep up with. just to keep myself from thinking it. Because everybody kept telling me after she passed, I took another week off. It was 2 weeks total. The first week was dealing with her in the hospital and then
Mhm.
having her celebration of life and everything. And then I took another week off, and my sister begged me to come up to Colorado where she lives. I kept saying, "Yeah, I'll come up there. I'll come up there. I'll come up. I'll take some time." She's like, "You need to take some time." And I was like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
I'll do it. I'll do it." After 2 days of sitting around my apartment and shuffling around like an old man with no purpose, I knew I couldn't do that anymore. So I went back to work. I stayed out just long enough to get her ashes picked up. And once I picked up her ashes, I went right back to work and didn't look back. Was it the best choice? There were times where I went in my office, did roll call, and sat back down, and I was like, "Fuck, I shouldn't be here."
Mhm.
And there were days I went to the lieutenant that was over it, and God bless him. I told him, I said, "Look, man, I need to go home." Right? He
Mhm.
was like, "Fucking go, dude." He's like, "Yeah, I told you shouldn't have come back." No,
Yeah.
anyway, right? But even when I came back, he did everything he could to make sure that I was in the right state to do what I needed to do. But that distraction helped. 10 hours out of the day, I had something to distract me and keep me
Mhm.
from doing all that. But then I'd go home and I didn't have anything after that. Shuffling around my apartment and the dog was there, but then, it was like the dog was like, "Hey, I need to go out." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Give me another hour. I'll take you out." Right.
Mhm.
And the dog was like, "No, I really need to go out, man." And it's like, all right, give me 30 minutes. So when I realized that taking the dog out to use the bathroom
Mhm.
was too much for me,
Yeah.
I had to find stuff to do. So
Hobbies and stuff, or
yeah, yeah. So, um,
do you think you were trying to I say this just from do on my end on a lesser scale, but you know how, like, if you go through some shit, you're like, "Okay, I need some other shit to, like,
mhm,
cover up this shit." Do you think that's what you're looking for at work? Like, "Hey, give me a bad call. Give me something else to
mhm,
cover this up with."
mhm. That's exactly what it was. I needed that. We'd always been trained when when I first got on the department, even in the
Mhm.
military, it was your personal life is different than work life. You had to be able once you put that vest on, you had to flip that switch and you were at work. You were no longer at home. Every problem that you had at home was gone. Because if you bring your home problems into work, it
Mhm.
affects that. If you bring your work problems to home, it's going to affect that. So that helped in the aspect of I could go to work and that was it. I didn't have to think about my daughter. I didn't have to think about the fact that she was gone anymore. I didn't have to think about the fact that when I got home, the silence was so fucking deafening that I couldn't stand it anymore. I could just
Yeah.
come to work and whatever they gave me, the more they gave me, the more that was taken away from it. The problem was once that was done, and I had done that once before, just immersing myself in work, taking up a bunch of part times, taking up a bunch of extra duty, a bunch of overtime. And I used the premise of, well, we needed the money type thing. But it was actually to shut my head up so
Mhm.
I didn't lose it. And that's ultimately what led to my second divorce. Because I immersed myself in work, forget about everything else. And I realized I started to do that again with her being gone. So I had to find other outlets to deal with that. It's been some of the hobbies have stuck, some haven't. It's just finding the right ones to occupy my time. I say it jokingly, but it's half of a joke, half not. Um, you know, people are like, "Well, I'm glad you got hobbies to take away, you're not depressed or anything." Like, the
Mhm.
depression's still fucking there, right? I said, "It's still a legit
Yeah.
thing, but I've got things to keep me from slipping down that slope again."
Mhm.
Having everyone show up that night was one of those things that I keep in the back of my mind that even if I get to that point where I'm done with it all and I
Mhm.
just I wanna shut everything up, I know there's still somebody that will drop everything that they're doing and
Yeah.
fucking come down there. So, that's helped out a tremendous amount. Now you got me all up in my feels.
I'm sorry, I'm up on my feels. I haven't teared up yet. You made me tear up, bitch.
Oh, man. That's why we decided to have her cremated instead of doing a funeral. She hated to be the center of attention.
Good reason, yeah.
She didn't like people looking at her. I know that if we had fucking
Oh god,
done
even
a
just
funeral and people walking up to see her and just her sitting there, she'd have fucking hated it.
I'm not for
So,
caskets anyways, because it's just it's not them,
yeah,
and it's just not a good lasting image.
yeah.
I don't particularly like it.
Well, she again to our sick humor. Me and my sister were in the car. We were going somewhere, and I had made the decision to cremate her. And my sister was, well, why'd you decide to cremate her, or whatever? I said because she hated to be the center of attention,
Yeah.
whatever. And I told her that I told her mother that. I had planned on cremating her,
Mhm.
and her mother asked if she could have some of the ashes. I was in my feels because my daughter had just passed. I said, "That's fine." I said, "We'll split the ashes or whatever." And I looked at my sister, and I said, "You know what's gonna fucking piss me off though?
Uh-huh.
If we split these ashes, and I get like her ass or something, right? I get like a left foot and the ass, right? And her mom gets her head or her fucking, whatever. I said, I'm gonna be very fucking pissed off, right?"
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I was like, "No, it's a legit question." And I said, "Emma would have found it hilarious."
Yeah.
And so we're in
She'd
the
be like, "Yeah, you do get my ass,
Yeah.
asshole."
So we're in the funeral home, and the whatever the fuck they are, I guess the mortician or the assistant or whatever he is, he was asking us, he's like, "So how, do you want it in a box or an urn or what?" I said, "Well, we want to split it with her mother and
Mhm.
and whatever." He's like, "We can do that." My sister spoke up and she's like, "Just make sure we don't get her ass." And my other two kids started laughing and I started laughing and he's looking at me like, "What the fuck?" I said, "Don't worry about it, man. We're good. Separate
It's totally normal. It's good coping.
Just separate it. We'll be fine." Oh, man. I just know she'd have been laughing her ass off.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
I said she had to. She was me.
Like, just from the facial expressions alone. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was definitely you, dude. There was so much judgment just in
Well, we had talked about earlier with my time in the military and then coming to the street. I had been in more traumatic experiences on the street than my entire time in the military with
6 years or
6 years, but 4 deployments. And then I did time on the special reaction team in the military. But I'd been through more traumatic experiences in the police field than I did in the military time. I was able to go through a lateral academy because of my military experience. So I had a lateral academy. Mine was right before your academy was. So that got me into a lateral. They still treated us like shit for some
Yeah.
reason.
Oh, I can think of a couple reasons why.
Honestly, the sergeant over it at the time, after we got done, he was like, "I don't know why I was such a dick to y'all. Y'all were laterals." And we're like, "Fucking whatever, man."
Oh, too late now, buddy. Thanks.